sponsor, Manscaped. Have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped. What are you thinking about
Love
Manscaped, dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
Manscaped is a must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man. It's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to go do the deed on a woman, would you rather have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or full retro bush?
Racing stripe. Retro bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well-manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start. Where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to wander into that.
That's very interesting. I never thought about that. You're a smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured, you can see both sides. It's not
like blinking lights on both sides of that.
I don't want, I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that as well.
Gotcha. Oh, look what you found. Ooh.
I got to be honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as I found it.
Have you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear? Then
what is it?
Retro.
Absolutely.
You're like, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm 46.
Like it pops out?
Do you walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's
through.
a trooper. Yeah. He's a trooper. Got to give him an A.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I couldn't say it. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven, does Manscaped could help you?
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Yeah, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
but with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
A drop kick. Amazing. I want to go back again. I was thinking about this. You were in the WWE at the same time as Ashley Massaro, correct?
Yeah.
Did you have a relationship with Ashley at all? I mean, relationship like as a friend? Did you know her?
Yeah. She was very nice. She traveled with me, and she rode with me and Orton a couple of times. So
unfortunately, she took her life, as we all know. But there is a story about when she was in Kuwait that she claimed that she was sexually assaulted. Did she ever mention that to you or?
No,
anybody?
but we were. I don't think we had a relationship where she would bring that up to me. We weren't close on that.
Were you shocked when you heard that story? Her
that
allegations?
Story, I don't remember the details of it now, but I have heard that story, and it was a bit alarming, that one, and shocking to me. That one did surprise me, but I don't remember the details off the top of my head, but I remember it was pretty awful, whatever was said.
Did you ever notice she was having these type of mental breakdowns or problems, or she always seemed upbeat while wrestling?
But it's hard to tell. Sometimes you can't tell with people up there, or you're so wrapped up in kind of what you're doing, maybe, or you really kind of put on a mask. I think a lot of times when you're working there, you almost have to be. I don't want to say you walk in and you be I have to be the masterpiece, Chris Masters, from the minute I go to leave, but you kind of have to, you know what I mean? Or at least you have to, you don't always want to show vulnerability. You know what I mean? That's not always, especially in the locker room I came up in where it was guys who were, not the video game generation that we have now, but again, the more rough, kind of rough and tough, pay your dues generation.
But when you reflect back, right, because you have this internal family, we talked earlier about Poffo and Briscoe, for example. Do you think to yourself after you find out she took her life, man, did I not see something? Could I have helped her? Or is it hey, look, I didn't have that sort of relationship with her?
It was both probably, because I don't know. I just don't think just one of those things, you know what I mean? It's hard to help somebody when they're having issues that are that deep. You know, you would have to really be close to that person to help them in that, you know what I mean? Like, and because, you know, they're not going to open up to you about stuff like that. So like, I just don't feel like I ever got to a point where, you know, if me and Ashley were close enough then, or a lot closer, then I would have felt exactly what you were saying. I felt like, man, why didn't I? But like, I was just kind of never in a position to know that like, oh man, that she was really suffering from that. So I just, you know, I know that there's nothing that I could have done. But you know, if anybody that close to me did it, that was really close, that you know, you would almost hope that you would be able to see the signs, and that would only happen through having conversation or seeing that person every so often or whatever.
How about Benoit? What'd you think about that? Did you see any signs with Chris Benoit?
I don't think it's a big problem saying this. I mean, I pretty much assumed right away that Chris did what he did, and it's not because he was a bad guy really, but I couldn't see. I was worried about it. I didn't know for sure. I was worried about it. I didn't see what else could have happened. I didn't see somebody kind of just killing the whole family. So it was shocking, and all I remember was hoping that it wasn't him who did it, and then finding out the next morning it was him who did it, and then just being like, and I just always kind of reflect back, and you know, instances like this have really shown me to trust my gut, especially now at this age. When I shook his hand, there was an intense energy to him that felt very uncomfortable to me, and I've now learned to trust this instinct like wholeheartedly, especially at this age now more than ever. You know, it's not something anybody has to say to you or do. Sometimes you just feel a bad energy about somebody when they're in a room or whatever. There's an intensity about them.
So there was this bad energy
You felt
from
something.
him.
There was an intensity to him when I shook his hand and looked into his eyes that just made me, I don't know, there were just questions like, whoa.
Interesting.
Whoa, that's crazy.
And like, you
That's
know,
cool.
it's just overall, but I, like everybody else, I mean, man, you look at I respect his work and all of that, but
Sure.
But do you think when something happens like that, like, you know, you still see these wrestling fans, I love Chris Benoit. Do you think at some point, like when you do something like that, you've just washed away everything that was positive about you, period? Like,
well,
you respect his
everything
wrestling,
has an
but
asterisk. It's hard because now it's hard to talk about Benoit
Mm-hmm.
without some degree thinking about all of this.
Sure.
Like, so, like even if WWE had wiped the history book of him, it doesn't matter because anytime we bring up even Chris's work, you're just like, fuck, we killed his family. Like, it's
Yep.
just, I just don't think there's anything we can do about it. Like, he kind of did it to himself through what he did, where, like,
Yeah.
you can't praise him without also, like, it's like you can't, like, think about it. Anybody who brings up anything about him, it's like you almost feel like you can't without referring to, oh, man. But, you know,
Right.
or at least even thinking it.
Sure.
Well, like, you know, and again, he wasn't a bad guy, man. It was just, there was an intensity to him.
there was something missing.
That was uncomfortable. And then, so, and I'm not saying I encounter people like that all the time. It's just more, I've learned to trust my instincts on, like, if there's an energy about somebody that feels off, like, you know, even if they're nice to me, you know, I'll take a back step and all.
So on the other end, and I'm not trying to compare this, but